Good morning. Today we're looking at the Hario V60, one of my favorite brewers. It's simple, cheap, and capable of producing an incredible cup of coffee. But how can you make sure that you are getting the most out of this brewer? There are some tips and tricks that you should know before you get started brewing. So let's dive into how we at HomeGrounds brew coffee in a Hario V60. Hi, my name is Stephen Holm and I'm with HomeGrounds, where our mission is to help you brew and enjoy better quality coffee from the comforts of your own home. Before you get brewing, you need a few pieces of equipment. First, the brewer. Second, filters. Unfortunately, you do need to buy these specific Hario filters for your brewer, but they aren't that expensive on Amazon. Next, something to brew your coffee into, whether it is a carafe or a mug, but just make sure that your mug is large enough to hold the amount of coffee that you are brewing, but also know that someday you will brew too much coffee for the mug that you're brewing into, and you won't realize it until coffee starts spilling out of the sides. You will need a scale. We recommend one that can read to the 1/10 of a gram, and you will also need a timer. The scale has one built in, but you can also just use your phone. Next, you will need a kettle for your water. We recommend gooseneck kettles because they give you a little bit more control over your pour, but if all you have is one with a larger spout, that's okay. It'll just take you a little bit more practice. You should heat your water up to 195 to 205 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're going off of a boil, that's fine. Just let it sit for about 30 seconds and then you can get started brewing. Next, a spoon that you'll use to stir the grounds. You will also need a quality burr grinder. This will allow you to grind your coffee fresh and get the most even grind size. Lastly, coffee. Make sure that you are buying fresh, good quality coffee because what ends up in your cup is only as good as the initial ingredients that you use. If you'd like to see recommendations for any of the equipment here, from grinders, kettles, to coffees, check out the links in the description below where we have our personal recommendations. Alright, so let's get started. Today I'm going to be using 25 grams of coffee to 400 grams of water. You can feel free to play around with different ratios and amounts, but I would recommend starting with one recipe and getting comfortable with that before venturing out. We're going to be grinding on a medium fine setting. We'll talk more later about how to dial in the exact grind you should be using. Once your coffee is ground, go ahead and take one of your filters and we're going to fold it up along this ribbed edge and place it in your brewer. Before anything else, make sure that you rinse out the filter. We do this to preheat everything as well as get rid of any papery taste that may be in the brewer itself. Since V60 filters are pretty thin, you won't have much papery taste, but I still would recommend doing this. Make sure you dump out the rinse water before you get started brewing. Dump in your coffee. Give the brewer a little shake to even out the bed of coffee grounds. Make sure you tare your scale so that it is showing 0, and we're ready to get started. First phase of brewing is called the bloom. For this, we're only going to be pouring about 50 to 75 grams of water. Take your spoon and just go all the way to the bottom, forward, back, forward, back. The purpose of this phase is to release all of the carbon dioxide that's in the coffee from the roasting process so that we can go forward with the brewing and extract soluble coffee material. We'll let the bloom sit for about 45 seconds and then start pouring in the middle in slow circles going from the inside to the outside. We're going to be pouring all the way up until we hit 400 grams. And we're aiming to hit that 400 grams around the 2-minute mark. Once you're done pouring, just take the brewer and give it a quick spin. This will take all of the coffee grounds on the sides of the filter and draw them into the middle, so you're left with a nice flat bed of coffee grounds at the end. You want to let this draw out and hope that it finishes around the 3-minute mark. Now that we're done and have a nice flat bed of coffee, take the filter, dispose of that, grab your favorite mug, give the coffee a quick mix, and you're ready to get started drinking. If your coffee tastes overly bitter, it just means you extracted a little bit too much. Next time you brew, just go a little bit coarser on your grind and you should be good to go. On the other hand, if your coffee is overly sour, you'll just need to grind a little bit finer and extract more out of your coffee. This is a very basic and simple method for dialing in coffees. If you'd like to see something a little more detailed, let us know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified when we release more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching, and happy brewing.